worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right. Hey, shout out to everybody doing me the beautiful service of chiming in and checking out these videos. Thank you very much. Again, if I am in any way able to help even one person, even a little bit, that's a beautiful thing. So again, thank you all for that opportunity. And the channel has been growing quite beautifully, by the way, and thank you all for that continued support, right? So yeah, this one we're going to get into quickly. This is titled, "It's Not a Game, It's Not a Simulation, It's an Expression." All right? Okay, so what I mean by this is, you know, we've all felt through a variety, I guess probably likely through all of our sensory abilities, right, that something is askew, something's off. Reality itself, to many, by many descriptions, doesn't quite seem real, right? This is the way a lot of people phrase it. So we have adopted some ways of trying to grasp that, right? And you know, I've heard of people referring to our current existence as living in the Matrix, and I have myself, because in many ways it does mirror the concepts that we were introduced to in that movie series, very much, right, in terms of the happenings on this planet over the millennia. And it's important for us to understand, though, that that's just a reference or a way for us to grasp this, again, to have a solid grasp on this. So I'm not saying that it's wrong to say that, right, or to view it that way. Nothing's wrong, and I'm certainly no judge of right or wrong. I'm giving you my perspective on it, and what research and introspect and insight has been revealed to me, right, and through my studies, right, because I have to admit, folks, that, you know, I have done decades of research and studies, right, into knowledge of self. It was the initial journey, right, and always is. But into a lot of the things that have been hidden on the planet, a lot of the truths or knowledge that is not given to us on a daily basis, which is, again, referring us back to the fact that we live in a world that isn't, at least a society or a paradigm, probably the better phraseology, a paradigm that is not trustworthy, right? You can't believe in it, right? It is our belief in it that has led us astray and essentially run us amok, right? For so long, because the elites have been incredibly successful in getting us to believe in this paradigm, their matrix, right? If we want to refer to it in that way. But in actuality, this is not a game that we're living, folks. I hear that too, by the way, a lot. I've seen a lot of videos where they say, hey, listen, this is just a video game, right? Or a computer simulation. Well, you know, we're kind of tech crazy in this age, right? So it's logical right now that people would be making that comparison. Um, it only makes sense. Part of human nature is to find a way to grasp the unknown, right? And one of our most common tools, or you might say crutches, that we fall back on is to relate everything into terms that represent our expression, right? Or what we are. Everything from man's point of view. Um, and that's simply not, you know, not not broad enough at all, right? Especially when our view, for the large part, has been skewed by myopic individuals, entities, organizations, etc., that don't have your best interest at heart, right? So, yeah, you know, I would say that our paradigm can, in fact, be described those ways, but it's important for us to understand what it actually is. And what it actually is an expression, right? It's all expression. For example, this planet, which, by the way, the correct name of the planet is Terra, and Terra, planet Terra, is the physical expression of the spirit energy of great Gaia, right? So the same way that we have a physical expression, which is, you know, for me, my physical vessel that I need to get me a shave in real quick, right? You know, but I love myself in all ways and forms and manners of my appearance, right? I feel comfortable when I'm clean. But no, really, the planet, this planet is Gaia's expression, right? When you write a book, let's say, that's an expression. When you write a song or sing a song, that's an expression. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at your physical expression. When we communicate to each other, we are expressing, right, what has come from us in terms of our perception internally. When we view all of creation, right, beyond this planet, we are viewing our Creator's expression, right? This paradigm that we're living in is our collective expression. Now, here's back into the key about that, right? We got to remember, if we think back to, and many of you, you know, whoever has not seen the earlier videos on manifestation, one of the key factors or components of that is that we are always manifesting. Always. It's just a matter of whether we are manifesting consciously or subconsciously. And then what we are manifesting is in fact our expression, right? So when we manifest, again, whether consciously or subconsciously, we have, you know, let's say subconsciously, we have a fearful thought, right? Or a fearful thought or concept or something that's been dwelling in us to the point that it has resonance, right? That is something that often we subconsciously manifest into our lives. And what we subconsciously manifest, in other words, however that looks, whatever that fear looks like in physical manifestation, is our expression. We're expressing our fear. Though be it subconsciously, that's what we're doing, expressing that fear emotion that we're having at the time. We're expressing it into this physical existence, right? This 3D, 4D existence into physical manifestation. So all of this is our expression collectively, right? This world that we're living in, this paradigm that we've existed in, and that we are now changing, right? Changing to a new paradigm, long overdue change. That is our expression of our intent, right? That's why we're seeing the world change so drastically, because enough of us have the true intent to see a better world, right? We're tired. It starts there with the fact that we're really sick and tired of the old paradigm, right? People are sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? They've had enough of the old paradigm, misery, pain, and hate, of usury, of people usurping other people, other beings, the planet itself, all of these negative, low vibratory concepts. We're tired of that, and it's got to go. It's going. It's already in that process, and that is our expression. Just as we had been tricked into expressing the old paradigm, right? We're now in freedom, choosing to express this new paradigm, and that's a beautiful thing. So again, it's very important for us to understand that this is an expression, because therein is our power, right? The power that we have been tricked into externalizing to others is that power. The power that existence itself is a manifestation that we are expressing either subconsciously or consciously, or you could say it reverse, right? I guess it might even be better to say that all of existence is an expression that we are manifesting either subconsciously or consciously, but we are constantly doing so. So not only in that is our power that we externalize to others, like governments, right? And those who those who head all the institutions that affect our daily lives, right? We externalize power to them in order to be able to do that. And it's important for us to realize that, because we're now in the mode of taking that power back, right? So you first have to understand that it is your power to take, to wield, right? And then you're able to make the decision to take that back. The other important factor in that is culpability, right? Human beings are the masters of making excuses for their own behavior. We are, absolutely. We will rationalize, we will try to twist and flip it, even in our own minds often, right? Which is when you're really lying, because you're lying to yourself. But we do it all the time. because we don't want to feel bad about the choices we make, and we shouldn't feel bad. What we should instead do is recognize mistakes for the learning opportunities that they are. That's all mistakes are. That's all anything that we do that we look back on and might have any feeling of regret or wanting to change. We don't have to feel bad in order to benefit from it, right? In fact, you don't benefit when you feel bad from it, because when you feel bad or guilty, right, then you're harboring lower vibrational frequencies and you're actually harming yourself. You're even physically harming yourself by holding on to those various forms of stress, guilt, regret. You should have culpability and understand that your choices is what makes up everything. Because again, all of this that we're experiencing is an expression of our intent. Now, a lot of us might stop and say, well, wait a minute, King Sadiq. It was never my intent to go into bondage, right? Can't think that our forefathers ever had the intent to be slaves. Well, listen, first of all, slavery has gone back through the annals of time. And the only slaves in the world were not black people. It's an unfortunate human condition that likely even extends beyond the human condition, right? But it's a manifestation of an emptiness within one's soul to cause you to want to dominate another being or individual, right? And that manifests in a lot of ugly things like chattel slavery. But yeah, it's very important for us to understand that even those ugly things that are a part of the history of this planet are our manifestation. Now, many of those things we have been tricked into, right? Again, setting up an entire paradigm subconsciously of fear. And that's what we've existed in for far too long. But that's changing, right? It definitely is. And we're going to continue to change it until we get rid of a fear paradigm, a fear, all of the lower vibrational frequencies being intertwined with our vibrational frequency, right? We don't want to vibrate at those low frequencies and essentially limit and inhibit ourselves, right? That's what you do, what any being does when they resonate in lower vibrations, is they inhibit their own growth and expansion, right? Their own evolution, any being. So yeah, it's important for us to understand that even those times in history, those times in our lives when we have experienced things that we would never have consciously wished on ourselves, we need to understand that we do so subconsciously for a lot of reasons. And a lot of that has to do with, deep-seated issues that we have to deal with. Again, the whole point of all of this is spiritual maturation. That's why you would put yourself through the ringer. That's why you make it so hard on yourself, because in those tough times, in those truly desperate instances in your life, when you have to look yourself in the mirror and question yourself, that's when growth takes place, right? When you really use introspection to look at yourself, look yourself in the mirror. So all the times throughout history that mankind has really gone through tough times are our own devising, right? Looking in the mirror and asking ourselves what needs to change, right? How do we need to grow? And then a part of it is creating a crucible, right? Through which you are forged, believe it or not. That is a big part of the growth process, right? You are actually, through those toughest times of your life, in the crucible in which you were forged, right? And some of us, it takes a longer time, right? You know, every single ingot won't melt down at the same rate and at the exact same time, right? Every tree or plant doesn't grow at the exact same rate or speed or to the exact same height or width or whatever. I mean, variation is a part of nature. It's the beautiful part of creation, right? And so, you know, how long we have to stay in that crucible will vary as well. And to what degree of severity we create that crucible will vary, right? So, again, all these things are important for us to understand in cognizing the fact that this is, in fact, an expression, a spiritual expression, right? That is creating the opportunity for us to truly grow in spiritual maturity, right? It's a process, but it's a necessary process. It's why we incarnate into a human experience in the first place. See, that's another thing. We get caught up, again, believing that this is the whole of existence. This is your lifetime on this physical planet. That's life. When you die, there are those, I guess, who have no spirituality, who figure you just don't exist anymore, and that's it, right? And then there are those who have varying religious contexts in which to view that. I'm not here to say any of that is right or wrong. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to understand that there's a reason for everything. And the reason and our potential benefit is spiritual growth and maturity, right? Spiritual maturity. So that's why we incarnate. That's why we live out this expression, right? All these expressions. And that, I feel like, is a better cognizing of the concept that this is not a game or simulation, but it is an expression. All right. Hope we covered that one fairly well. More to come. All right. Thank you all once again. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I'm out.